Salut tout le monde! I'm on Unintentionally Frenchified today to talk to you about a subject that most foreigners struggle with. If you are on the struggle bus about making friends, this video is for you. Let's face it, making friends in general as an adult is rough. So if you're just moving cities within your own country already and you've got to get a whole new social life, this is not easy as an adult. Then when we talk about moving abroad, now you have to add in the fact that it's in a different language, but it's not just the language. Culturally, how people make friends is not the same. That is a lot to adapt to. I think that making friends when you're living abroad is almost even more important because you don't have your family very close by. In my personal experience, your friends become kind of like this hybrid between friends and family. We can call it framily, I don't know, because you have to count on them in situations where your family can't be there so quickly. Like, I don't know, you're sick, there's an emergency, you call your friends. If you want this international move to be a success and you want to feel integrated and you want to feel settled down, a lot of that comes back to who are your friend group and who have you met and who do you feel connected to. I know all of this can be very overwhelming, speaking from experience. So I thought this was a good video to do today, kind of about what are the main things to keep in mind when you're making friends in France and sometimes generally abroad, and what are some of my tips and tricks that I kind of picked up along the way and what advice I would give you. Obviously, like all the videos, this is a great one to leave comments below so we can also hear what other people are thinking and what advice they would give for you too. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the perfect time to do it before we dive on in. And otherwise, if you're ready, c'est parti! I think it goes without saying that when you want to connect with somebody, be someone's friend, it does help to have a language in common. That does make the connection part a bit easier, right? So this is a small point, but there are a lot of people that move to France not speaking French, which totally normal, you gotta learn somewhere. But then there are also a lot of people that move to France not speaking French and then never try to really speak French. Like, a lot. And I find this actually hard to understand in the sense that, like, if you're making like this big move abroad and you're spending time and you're spending the money and I mean all the administration stuff to get yourself to a new country, why are you not investing the time in yourself to learn the language so that not only can you connect with other people, but that you can just feel more settled in your new environment? And I don't know, guarantee yourself that the move is a success. You guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments below what situations you feel like it's normal to not try to learn the language of where you're living, but in most situations, I think this is really helpful, especially about making friends. Lingoda is the #1 online language learning school. They have flexible online language learning classes that are 24/7, so they can really adapt to your busy schedule as you're moving abroad, as you're figuring things out, as you're trying to get your feet underneath you. The classes are really small. On average, they're 3, and they're always run by native speaking teachers that are certified. So they're super patient. They can respond to all of your crazy grammatical questions. Like, they really know their stuff. So whether you're still in your home country, dreaming about your next move abroad, or whether you've already landed in your country and realize that you need an extra push, some motivation to get your language learning kick-started, Lingoda is a great option to invest in yourself and invest in your time abroad during this holiday season. I've been living in France for 11 years now, but I still do not forget, and I've said it in a video before, how long it took me. It was 2 years, almost 3, to make good French friends in France. And in those first few years when I didn't have good French friends, till the time that I did, was also the time in my language learning where I improved and learned the most in French. And I do not think that that's a coincidence. I was immersing myself in French, I was reading in French, I was taking classes, I was started to work in French, and my level of French started to become stronger and I started to become more confident. And I feel like thanks to that dedicated time improving my French, I was able to connect with locals and still be here 11 years later by choice. I really invested in myself and I think it paid off. And the thing is in France, it's not a country that's known to be super comfortable with English. So it's a lot of effort for someone to be speaking English to you most likely. And so if you don't learn French, you're just narrowing down really the pool of local people that would even be able to have a connection and a real friendship with you. So please don't just ignore this part. This is the right time to invest in yourself. I learned French 11 years ago and it changed my life. Learning languages changes your life. So if you are even slightly interested in what I'm saying right now, you should check out Lingoda in the YouTube description below. I have a link. They have lots of options about classes. You can decide to do monthly classes. There's no commitment, cancel whenever you want, and pay per class you take. You can decide that like you want to sign up for the marathon option. And so I'm gonna commit to a certain number of classes ahead of time, and if I take them, I get my money back. Check out the YouTube description if you're thinking that you want to invest in yourself. Now is the best time during the holidays. Now, imagine that you speak intermediate French and you're living in France and you're trying to make friends, circa myself, 2011, and you're struggling. Couple of important points to keep in mind. First point, French people are not in general overly friendly when you first meet them, okay? So this whole like, oh my God, we have the same birthday, we're besties for life. This type of American vibe is not the vibe that you're gonna have in France. Not a lot of overexcitement in general, but definitely not when you first meet someone. If you feel like people are kind of only half interested when they first meet you, they seem a bit standoffish or a bit colder than you would have thought, I wouldn't necessarily chalk it up to their personality, but maybe just how people interact culturally when they first meet people they don't know. Also important to keep in mind that they're either making an effort to speak English, so you gotta give them that if you're speaking English, or they're making an effort to listen to your broken French if you're speaking French. So the fact that someone's already talking to you is effort on their part. So really, if you're invited to the bar, invited to the party, already invited to a soiree at this point, you should see this at the beginning. And when I say beginning, I mean the first couple of years. You should already see this as a win. Hashtag win for yourself. You're at the right place. And just mingle and see where conversations go, because the French just don't invest themselves in people as early in relationships as you'll find in other countries. If you do see a French person regularly in group settings and you have long conversations and you've got a lot in common and you really hit it off, why not ask them go out and grab a drink together? I would just say in this type of situation, it's up to you to make the move, as if we're in a romantic comedy over here, but you should make the first move. This kind of goes not just for France, but a bit everywhere. Like, they're local, they have friends, and they've already got a built-in friend group, right? So they don't necessarily need new friends. So they're probably not going to be the person driving the friendship at the very beginning as much as you are, that's more free and more in need of friends. This doesn't mean that they won't take the time later, and you definitely shouldn't have a one-sided friendship for very long. But if you've seen someone in group settings that you really hit it off with and you really like and you want to see outside of that group setting, I just wouldn't expect them to be the first one to come towards you. I would think that you need to make that first move. So moral of the story, don't be shy. And another thing to keep in mind is that the French tend to have friends for life. A bit dramatic to say it that way, but honestly, they really do keep friends long term, which you might not see from the beginning because they're not going to be as warm and as fuzzy and as friendly as you might be used to. But once you actually get to know them, and once a French person has invested time in getting to know you and to creating a relationship with you, they take that relationship really seriously. The idea of a new friend every week or friend hopping, or, you know, sometimes in the US we used to say that like, oh, she's got a new friend every week. I've never even heard that phrase be uttered out of the words, the mouth of a French person, because it's just like really not culturally the way that friendships work here. You invest time, it takes time to get to know someone, and once you do, you really, you know, work on building that relationship and nourishing it and nurturing it and keeping a friendship for life. Which means that once you've made a French friend, you are golden. You are golden. They are just as amazing as your, you know, friends back home, and you can count on them just as much as you can count on any of your other friends. They're just great, great people to be friends with. It's a different way of approaching friendships at the beginning, but in the long term, you get just as much out of it as you would out of a friendship with somebody from back home. All right, I've got some big tips for you about how to make French friends fast, or as fast as you can. I already told you it took me like 2+ years to make friends here, so I don't want to give false expectations, but at least to speed up the process. Don't hesitate to be friends with other expats, especially in the beginning. A lot of people will tell you don't do that, shy away, like just immerse yourself 100%. But personally, immersing myself without any expat friends for 2 years would have made me absolutely effing miserable. I would not recommend doing that. I would just say you need to integrate at the beginning. You need to have a social group of friends and you need to feel welcome, and the French take time. So hit up some expats, and if you can, try to hit up people that aren't from your home country so you get some new cultural experiences and you get to, chat with other people, but make expat friends so you at least feel a bit settled. French classes are a great way to meet friends, by the way. 3, live with French people if you can. I would shy away from living alone when you first move somewhere if you can help it. Get roommates because that's the best way to not only get to know a French person, an accelerated version really quick, but also be introduced to their friend group and then meet other friends. At the same time, sometimes it's hard to move in with locals. So if you have to move in with expats, for example, just try to move in with expats, as I said, that aren't from your same home country so that at least you get introduced to a different culture and you get to experience something different. I made very good local friends through a roommate of mine that was not local, but was another foreigner. Obviously, dating a French person would be the absolute cherry on top of the cake. Actually, we could call it the whole cake. That would be the whole damn cake if you manage to date a French person. The language of love. You've got a built-in partner. You've got a built-in person that's gonna have a friend group. They teach you everything you need to know about the cultural things. That is definitely the winner chicken dinner. But obviously, you don't have as much control over that as you do other stuff, so you can manage without too. It is always harder to make friends, well, not just in France, but just in general, when you're no longer a student, right? That is like another gold mine for making friends is at college. But don't underestimate the power of colleagues. In France, when you go to work, the French workplace is not, for example, like the German workplace where it's really professional and people shy away from talking about their personal life from what I've understood. In France, like people definitely can talk about their personal life and you can absolutely make very good friends with colleagues. A bit like a roommate, it is a very accelerated way to get to know someone since you spend so much time together. So do not underestimate the power of your colleagues becoming very good friends. 2 of my closest friends here I met when I first started working in France. Join a sports club. Join a sports club. The French love their sports, they love their hobbies, or join any club, even if it's not sports. The French are so passionate about the things that they do outside of work. And so not only will you get to meet other people who share the same passion that you get to, but you also see them on a regular basis, and slowly that can turn from just hitting it off in pottery classes or while you're on the badminton court together and grabbing a drink afterwards to seeing them on the weekends to that, I don't know, finally getting a Sunday lunch at someone's house. An invitation for that 3-hour Sunday lunch. Highly recommend being in the know about cultural events. This is something that I've talked about in some of my other culture shock videos and things about speaking with the French. You know, I've said before, like, don't talk about money with people that you don't know. It's a really like taboo subject. It's even a taboo subject when you know people, okay? It's really not something the French talk about a lot. The French love to talk about anything that's going on, an everyday cultural event, world events. If you don't have an opinion, then people probably won't spend a lot of time getting to know you. So this is something to just be able to pull out of your pocket on a regular basis, and you will make friends faster by having an opinion. Don't shy away from sharing your opinion, but be ready to debate it when people don't agree with you. So I really hope this video helped, and I will obviously find you in the comments below if you have questions that I didn't answer to. Also, don't forget about Lingoda. If you want to invest in yourself this holiday season, this is the perfect time to change your life. Lingoda has actually not just French, but they have English, they have Spanish, and they have German. So there are other languages out there. If you're interested, check out in the YouTube description and my code. And otherwise, good luck out there making those friends, and I will see you la semaine prochaine. Bisous!